Welcome. So, today I have very little time, which means I've kinda have to rush it, or at least be doing it faster. It's not like I have some good. Like I want some kind of a decent reference or something that inspires me a little bit more. But otherwise, I'm gonna take it face value and just do this old man. There's a lot of details in his face, so that is desirable. Or just in okay, so my multi-stream is not working. I'm gonna check that out another day. I don't know why. I don't know, because the first time it worked really nicely, but now it doesn't. And this is a little bit upsetting. Like you would think that it works nicely, but the only thing that I changed was the latency. I don't know if that can be a problem. But yeah, anyway, let's try and get it on this setup. At worst case scenario, I'm gonna finish it tonight. So there's the slight problem of his hand. She's a little off. So let's box off his face. This cylinder for his hat. No, actually, the double cylinder for his hat. And yeah, I'm gonna start to lay it out. The next thing I think is going to be the man, so he's gonna have some thick neck, and let's work out the torso. Maybe thicker. Feels okay. This is where my arms start. So this is the doozy because this is where the hand would go. So this is the front. This is the back. And that's how we should be shooting it. I guess the hand is a little bit higher. So the top portion is covered. Actually, even higher. Very well. There is even a bottom portion. There's the thumb. And here a tiny cane. As for the right side, it's going to be tiny bit lower, but not that much, simply because the bottom portion of the hand is already laid low, and same thing happens again. This is the hand. So proportionally speaking, this is not that bad. Maybe we can fix up the shoulder. And on top of that, we can lay a little more foundations here. Just a tiny bit more. So I'm gonna start with the hat and the coat. Hat, coat, face. After the second one. So the hat actually is more dynamic than what I did. And oh, the ears are actually there. Has an interesting face structure. Like, thanks to the chin, this is basically a V. But I think I'm gonna first off just put it. Now let's try to find his features. And the nose. He has a very nice nose. Very interesting. It is very long, but sì, va bene. Ciao. Okay, so there's a lot of cool shadows that I'm gonna work out to take his nose and give him some cool form, as well as the shadow to his eye. Now his other eye is going to be the eye patch, so that's how this works. Eye patch, eye patch. And a slight hint of ears. I gotta say, this reference actually slaps a lot. This is so funny. Well, funny no, so this is so fun. So thinking back to draw a box, and I want to give the a Bristol texture coming from the outline, and maybe even trying to separate it like that. Like divide his mustache in some kind of layers so that it's easily recognizable. There's a pipe, and there's the bottom lip. Okay, these laps. Now after the bottom lip, let's keep going for the goatee. This goatee looks great. And the same idea. I'm starting to think a lot of the design part when drawing. Because up until some point I never like I think that the past days I always blitzed out the texture as random noise. And instead today I tried to think it as big shapes that I'm actively working on. And he has some wrinkles here, some wrinkles there. There's a lot of harsh light on the left, which is going to be amazing. Not gonna lie, this is solid. Now for the coat. So the coat has a little bit of a fur on it. I don't know how I'm gonna go about the fur just now. Also, I think I'm gonna just test the hands as soon as possible. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna first off add the coat. Then I'm gonna work on anything else. But the big difference about the coat is that actually his shoulder is lower, so we are going to do this trajectory. Okay, I already know that we're not going to finish this today. Perhaps the sketch. That's not a big deal. I can take a look in the morning or even tonight. Like when I come back from the work. Gonna be a nice time to take a look. Yesterday I actually resuscitated Drawbox, and that's been glorious because I've purposely not taken a look at it in a long time to heal my can't draw symptom. So everything's never been better. I was being held hostage by my own insecurities. And it turns out that people who actually know a thing or so about drawing should probably be listened to. I have a tiny bit of reservation into courses and stuff because my experience with gym is there's a lot of people who spread unknowingly if either misinformation or information that is way too specific that does not benefit most people. I'd say that Dropbox is not in any of these categories. Actually, I think it's very solid as an alternative to start learning how to draw. Should have gone into the trusting more, I think, but I always end up trying to do it my way. I think that was a mistake in the sense I think that's a mistake, as in I did some. Where the fuck do I put this? A mistake in sense that I didn't follow the instructions, which was a bad idea, but I don't think I was ready there. It actually took me some time to marinate over this idea. So probably even if at the end of the day the correct approach was to follow it, not following it I would say was such a terrible thing. Actually probably not bad at all. You know, there's time when you're more ready and more available. And this is the time that you usually, it's good to learn it, to learn your lessons. And that's why it's nice to go back from time to time to revisit ideas, revisit opinions, revisit stuff. Because you never know. Takes after some time, maybe like the whole that parents love to use the you're not old enough to understand, and they are to some extent correct. There are phases of life that simply some children are not old enough to go through, and not nor they should. And that's fair. It feels unfair in the present when you're being told such travesties, but in retrospect, I think you remember that it was neat. Like I retrospectively thought about it, and I understand now how that what how more uh, how much context was I missing. Like being a child is the biggest Dunning-Kruger effect ever. As an external observer is always so easy and neat to observe and to be. The fuck happened to my pencil? Did I lose? Why did I lose pen sensitivity all of a sudden? Hello? What the fuck is going on? Is my nib working? Like what? Looks like the software should be working, but all right. That was interesting. All right then, and so yeah, retroactively, I think you end up appreciating when the adults didn't want to involve you, because once you get involved, that is basically when you're cooked. You can get uninvolved once you're an adult, so that's definitely not the time to for wanting it. It is even a lot of an. I think they proved it that it's unhealthy for a child to have bigger responsibilities. Like I think they studied these wild families of like 13, 14 siblings when you kind of have to. They kind of have to cooperate. You can't really. Parents can't really take a look at all of them. But yeah, I was involved in adult life a lot earlier, but it was a bit about a chance, so I wasn't really given a choice. And again, that's one of the things that happens. That's a little bit of a luck issue. I don't quite. I wouldn't say I'm too displeased with overall how stuff went. I would have wished it was more relaxing growing up, sure. One day night, but for every each and every time, for every plus, there's a minus. Wait, I actually folded up in the wrong way. Well, there's advantages and there's disadvantages, so it's not the worst deal. I always try to remember the fact that I was always well fed, always cared for enough. I don't want ever to feel ungrateful. I want to feel bitter of what wasn't and what was even not in my control. Okay, either his neck is too high or this is too low. Gonna take some. Okay, I'm gonna take some creative choice and hide the node over there. Okay. So there's the pattern here. Crouch. I would say it isn't too bad. But I'm not super excited and working like the whole piece. I love when I get done something one piece at a time. So way in which I'm gonna start is from the hat. Then I'm gonna take down to the face. And I'm gonna work most of everything, one piece at a time. Try to work one detail at a time. I've seen that this is what I enjoy most. Okay. So there's a part of it. Let's put some dirt for here and there. Okay. It's a nice hat, I think. I'll drop down to 10 for this. All right. Very well, very well, very well. Now the nose portion, I think, is gonna give me such a headache. Hmm. Okay. That's getting separated pretty nicely. Okay, this is sick. Definitely got a better understanding. Yesterday, I actually took a little bit of tour to investigate this whole inking business. It was a lot of fun. Yes. Even if at the end of the day I won't end up doing manga, I always liked some aspect of them. So learning how to ink is definitely going to be beneficiary. Even if at the moment or in the near future I'm not really planning to do any of that. Because this at the end of the day is an evergreen skill, so if I ever feel like it, I can always grab it back. Like there's nothing so bad of having it. It's gonna be also a nice way to get the artwork done, the line work. There's an artist on TikTok who's very good just at that. He draws with watercolors, but at the same time he makes this comic book line arc, which is which makes a lot of contrast and makes very interesting pieces. He's a little bit too good for me at the moment. I really want to take the Mark Brunet's advice to study from people of my similar skill as mine, which I think is a nice idea in that regard, because little by little I am getting clear idea of what choices pros take, but in the beginning it's very hard to understand why something is being done. Like to the beginning of beginnings, it usually feels more like, oh yeah, he just knows where lines go. He just knows what to do. And that isn't actually accurate to what is drawing like. Yeah, that works. So next thing is going to be the beard. Let's not get lazy over here. So I want to give this Bristol-like look. Little bit of an irregularity. Kind of like granular idea. Yeah, this looks about as right as I can get it to look. One thing that Inktober did take me one thing that Inktober did actually make me take to heart is the idea that there's a fine it is fine to stop. At some point you're being like, yeah, I can't get it to look exactly like I want it. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. I have quitten a couple of annoying exercises and shit like that. Just because I usually don't. But after this, I thought to myself, well, it is cool and all, but since it's my free time, I could probably try and find something more engaging or even more to my level. So I went a little bit back. And I feel a lot more exciting. I feel like we feel like it was a good idea to just step back a little. One step back sometimes is very beneficial. So I'm gonna layer it out in a different way than anticipated. At the bottom part, I like the idea for it to be yeah, this works. This works a lot. Yep. So the face textures and features. Going to be a lot of shadows. Down the nose part. I was always a little appreciative of more unusual faces. I think that that drawing has actually improved that appreciation for me. I don't know, just since you're always bombarded with people who with something that is the impression that tries to leave some big impressions. Sometimes looking at what wouldn't be necessarily considered attractive or conventionally attractive is very refreshing to myself. It also feels a little bit more natural, which why I would it gives me sometimes just something more refreshing. So his left side is in a lot of shadows, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm already actually lost for time. How long has we been? 48 minutes. Yeah, well, some days shit looks like this. So, can I say as a progress bar, it is slaps and it's solid. I would keep this up a lot longer, but responsibilities sometimes cut you short, so such is life. Not gonna lie, the face is looking sick. Also, the hat is looking nice. Yeah, so that's how it's going to be for today. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, hopefully, I can go out for like 2 hours. Maybe if I'm not finished with this drawing on the evening, can take a look back at it. And yeah, Wednesdays is not a day that I would wish to stream, but it is nice that I did it anyways. It reinforces that I'm gonna be back a day. So the days when I stream most, it feels even better. And I have to take a look why YouTube doesn't work. So that's also that. See you.